is in itself indicative of the bipartisan majorities across the United States that favor Medicare for all. Public Citizen, the national nonprofit group, has documented that a third of the COVID deaths over the last year and a half could have been prevented if people had universal health care free at the point of service.
That ain't right.
That is the blood of 250,000 Americans on the hands of a corporate health insurance and pharmaceutical lobby supported by the most powerful Democrat in Congress representing the most progressive city in the United States. Are you okay with that?
No!
We are witnessing the exposure of the illegitimacy of our democracy. Healthcare policy, no less than climate, illustrates that what we call a democracy for, of, and by the people is instead a co-opted system run for, of, and by corporations to enlarge capital, even at the cost of death en masse.
Especially at the cost of.
Death en masse is profitable if you have controls over the right levers of industry. And if you've got pharmaceuticals, here's the thing, put the pandemic aside, just think about aging. We all get sick if you're lucky, right? If you don't meet your untimely demise at the hand of a racist police officer, we all will get sick eventually. And our healthcare system, kind of like our higher education system, is set up like a racket to bleed every person who needs those services, who needs care, who needs medicine, drive every penny they've ever earned. Our system uses illness as a pretext to fill people's pockets and drive others into early graves. It is a profound reflection of our refusal to acknowledge basic human dignity. When people talk about being pro-life, don't buy it. You're not pro-life if you don't support universal health care. I mean, come on, it's insane. And you're not liberal if you don't support universal health care either. Across the industrialized world, every democracy in it provides basic human rights, including universal health care, free at the point of service. Why in the richest nation do we not? And why don't we call it what that is? Fascism is the demonstration at scale with systematicity of disregard for human rights in the service of the fusion of state power and corporate power. To call it murder is frankly charitable, because fascism is a lot worse than that. And frankly, I think it's better demonstrated in mass incarceration than in the denial of universal health care. But you put the two together, we have legalized slavery in this country without basic human rights, with a corporate-dominated Congress of millionaires running us off a climate cliff. Welcome to the America in 2021. If you need to see a doctor, it should be free. Health care is a right, not a commodity. You need to see a nurse, it should be free. Health care is a right, not a commodity. You need to get some medicine, it should be free. Health care is a right, not a commodity. You need to get a surgery, it should be free. Health care is a right, not a commodity. If you need insulin, it should be free. Health care is a right, not a commodity. Health care is a right, not a commodity. Health care is a right, not a commodity, and we need to treat it that way. That's why I'm here for Medicare for all, and I'm grateful to everybody else who's out here with us. Thank you.
All right, folks, let's get this party started.
Yep.
How should we do this? Do we want, maybe we should lead with the banner? Lead with the casket? As we get assembled here, we're actually going to be serenaded by Daniel Hilsinger, who's a local musician, and he actually helped organize March for Our Lives in 2018.
And I love your voice.
Daniel?
Yeah. Michelle.
Okay.
And it's more environmental.
Until they tell us not.
We're heading out. Okay. You're here tonight. I'm DJing party tonight.
Love it.
We got to start someday, I guess.
Thank you so much for introducing yourself. I really want to recognize you.
My kids
I can blend in, I guess.
Happy birthday. It was your birthday.
My wife took me back to How long ago? Yeah. I'm 45.
Oh, thank you. No, I was talking about how scared I am when I speak. Oh, all right. I thought you were like, no, I don't know. What's the matter?
No, because I know how I'm one of those. Yeah. In 3.5 minutes, you can set your clock.
Like, you know, stretch everything out because,
Even if you didn't. Welcome to my world.
right, as you get older,
Yeah.
reality.
It's Bono.
Property insurance company.
I can hold this up.
Can I have a photo, please?
Yeah, I want a photo of the
I say it's really important.
Do you think you can get a good photo?
It's always fascinating.
It's just missed. Awesome
I never
photo.
brought it up here.
Or not. I don't mean to be bossy, but
It's not terrible.
you gotta get shit done, right?
I'm not sure.
Somebody's got to call.
You know, but you know, I find
And the photographers, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Gotta get out of there. Thank you. Yes. I didn't get the copy.
Any chance of messing her? I can't leave this screen to go tell her I'm live.
Oh,
I shared it.
A couple years ago.
I didn't share it.
I think I am.
Just want to get some viewers on
This year we saw how fucked up everything is.
Oh.
And that year, 2017, is when I, was in a wheelchair up at the Capitol during the single payer drive.
So, have my live, can you share the link?
And then we set up that music, and this is a song. We had a request from River, which is not really a fighting song, but I can play that. But I wrote a song this summer called Rise Up.
let's try that.
I played it this summer at the march, and
It's really light, by the way. President 60 will hold it
That's
too.
right, yes. Pole bearers.
Sure.
Now you're alone, cold and hungry, begging on your knees for company. Rise up. You were just fine, working a job, paying your dues till the shift changed. Then you got sick, it didn't right. Something was all get you up at night. Rise up. Rise up. Can't take off another day. Kids are hungry, got bills to pay. Now they say, hey. Rise up. Rise up. So what will you do when you're all alone? Sick and tired, you got no home. What will you do
I seen people in the chemo ward on the phone begging for more. They won't do it, they won't give you what you need. While you're dying, they count your money. While you're dying, they count your money. Rise up. We can't take it, we don't want it. They get rich while we fade away. Sell you the pain pill, sell you the way. Now it's too late. So what will you do when you're all alone? Sick and tired, you've got no home. What will you do when you're all alone? Get on the street, you and me, make it free. No matter your color, country, culture. Documentation, gender, or the language that you speak. It's alright. Ain't no game, lives on the line, no escape, no escape. Rise up, rise up, rise. Rise up, rise up, rise up. Yeah. Woo! Yeah.
Thank you so much, Daniel. Let's rise up.
You want to get the visual? No, not at all. That'd be great.
We introduced each other.
Good.
Yeah.
You have pictures too,
Learning. Already I too. More experience I get. I should bring.
Good. Before we start walking, I just wanted to make one more we all know whose house we're going to. We all know why we're gathered. We all know the person standing in the way, indirectly causing hundreds of thousands of deaths across the country. However, let us not forget that the theme of this event, we called it Day of the Dead to honor those who are no longer with us, to honor those who are gone, thanks to our for-profit healthcare system. So I just want to keep that in mind as we march, as we walk, as we move over to our end destination. That's who this is about. Because nobody else in the richest country on earth should die because they don't have health care.
Was that the last time we saw it? Okay. This is at least a year ago. I mean, a year and a couple months. I was July.
Yeah.
Huh. It's funny because I feel like I've seen you more often since virtually than I did before.
Right.
So there's two more.
Yeah.
It's fine. Thank you. Health insurance has got to go.
They don't necessarily express it the same way. That's a reflection of where they're at. You know, I think about the spectrum.
I'm so much deep, and I'm not deep into it.
You're pretty deep into it.
But he's, you know, I told him heading to Florida.
Oh,
Hello, dear. How are you?
was he just like a kid? That's such
You know who I am?
We're all anonymous, aren't we, under these masks?
Healthcare is a human right. Fight, fight, fight. 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 Healthcare is a human right. Fight, fight, fight.
We will fight. Healthcare is a human right. Emphasizer, we will power. We have leverage. We have power.
We have leverage.
Where's the come from, buddy? Come on.
And the signal, we will fight. Healthcare is a human right.
It's a human right.
Emphasizer, we will power. We have leverage. We have power.
When black lives are under attack, what do?
Stand up, fight back.
When disabled lives are under attack, what do?
Stand up, fight back.
When elderly lives are under attack, what do?
Stand up, fight back.
When HIV positive lives are under attack, what do?
Stand up, fight back. Hey, hey, ho, ho. For profit, healthcare, got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho.
stop funding corporate health. Let's start funding our own health. Do not fund more hospital beds. Let's fund people's health instead. Do not fund more hospital beds. Let's fund people's health instead.
Hospital beds, let's fund people's health instead.
Do not fund more hospital beds. Let's fund people's health instead.
Do not fund more hospital beds, let's fund people's
Hey, ho, ho, for-profit healthcare's got to go.
Hey, hey, ho, ho, for-profit healthcare's got to go.
Hey, hey,
Ho, ho, for-profit healthcare's got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, for-profit healthcare's got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, for-profit healthcare's got to go.
what do we want?
Healthcare.
When do we want it?
Now.
When do we want?
Healthcare.
When do we want it?
Now,
We don't get it.
shut it down.
We don't get it.
Shut it down.
We don't get it.
Shut it down.
I know, I'm gonna.
Stand up like that. Stand up like that.
Oh, we have no marshal.
If you had a headache, that'll at least cure it.
For-profit
healthcare. Smashing your tires.
When trans lives are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
When queer lives are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
And homeless lives are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
She was out here walking her dog. Going to her hairdresser, whatever.
You know, he doesn't want it himself, right? He's not walking his dog himself. What the dog walker could use healthcare.
For-profit healthcare's got to go.
Hey, ho, ho, for-profit healthcare's got to go.
Hey, hey, ho, ho. For-profit healthcare's got to go.
Hey, hey, ho, ho, healthcare's got to go.
Excellent.
For-profit healthcare's got to go. For-profit healthcare's got to go.
Our destination is down the hill on the right-hand side at the end of this block.
Couple language. Totally.
Oh, we're gonna do, just today we're gonna do the more inferential.org. Okay. Okay.
We are standing in front of the house of the person responsible for not bringing Medicare for all to the floor for a vote. I cannot think of anything more undemocratic. I'm not sure where you are, Speaker Pelosi, but come out and face your constituents. Last I checked, Kaiser didn't cast a single vote for you. Blue Anthem didn't cast a single vote for you. Neither did Blue Cross, Johnson & Johnson, or Pfizer. But you take so much money from them, and it gives you bigger obligations to corporate America than to the people who put you in office. You're going to hear from a select group of people today, the people who you have caused to suffer. You stand in the way. You are literally causing people's deaths. This is not a matter of priority. This is not a matter of ability. It's a matter of priority. So we stand here and ask you, why are you standing in the way? You have bigger obligations to foreign governments. You voted yes on every single war, but you won't give us health care in the richest country on earth. And that will be your legacy, Speaker Pelosi. That is what the people will remember.
That's right.
We're here. We're not going anywhere.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 13 opportunities to hold up a sign, Medicare for all, right in front of the speaker's house right here. All right, let's rally. Everyone can please pick a letter. There are numbers behind your letters corresponding to your placement.
I need an A on this side of me. Oh. That's awesome. I'll look that up. How's that? Good, good.
Medicare. I love the director.
Everyone in. Nobody out. Everybody 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 in. Nobody out. Nobody out! Everybody in! 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 Nobody out! Nobody out! Everybody in! Nobody out! Everybody out! Everybody in! Nobody out! Everybody in! Nobody out! Everybody in! Nobody out! Everybody in! Nobody out! Everybody in! That was good. I think we can stand up now.
You and I had that moment where we were crouching and I decided to stop it.
Not the pig tried vision, but
I thought it was pretty good. Really good work there. We should connect with that.
absolutely. Yeah, totally.
Thanks, man.
Maybe someday. My name's Kenny Valentine, filmmaker, and following the movement for the last year.
Right on. Nice. That's exciting. Where are you based?
I'm in Sacramento.
Okay, so. It's not deep in you about it.
No. Yeah.
Great. Do you, are you putting stuff on the
We'll be shortly.
Okay.
Yeah. Probably by next month. So I'm starting to go on social media.
Tag us and stuff, but I'd love to
Yeah.
check something out.
I'll do it.
Always excited to see video.
It says Medicare for all, not Medicare expansion, not vision, not dental. Medicare for all. That means everybody in,
Nobody out!
everybody in.
Nobody out!
The thing is, Nancy, we just want what you guys got. You guys have your healthcare taken care of, all 435 of you, including then what, 535 of you. We just want what you got. And we come with very specific demands. My friend Sheree here, who joined us all the way from New York. Going to read them for you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Happy to be here. I have the honor to read those demands. Number one, we want co-sponsor HR 1976 immediately enacted. Support to bring the bill onto the floor on the seven committees of judicial for hearing. 3, proactively build support for HR 1976 among her Democratic colleagues. 4, proactively work to build support for HR 96 among her Republican friends. 5, hold hearings on CMMI and DCEs, which are handing traditional Medicare for all to Wall Street. So basically stop doing that. 6, take care and public pledge or not to accept money from health-related industries.
Yes.
Hopefully, more to come, but yeah, that's going to be a tall order for her. We all know how hard it is for her to do that. Especially with all that insider trading she's got going on.
So, you know, the thing that really shocks me about this whole healthcare fiasco that we've got going on in this country is that the number of people who benefit from this is such a small group of people. It's such a tiny little group of people, and what we're talking about is literally, you know, killing people so that the corporations can make a little bit more in profits. You know, but what's the value of a human life? You know, the value of all the innocent Americans that we're killing, you know, so that let's not get it twisted. They're also getting money from the government. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like they aren't benefiting from the socialism that we should also be able to benefit from. I've spent the past couple years, you know, talking to people from across the spectrum. People who've had people die. I've talked to doctors. I've talked to small business owners who they would love to offer health insurance to their employees. It's just not feasible. What we have to do is we have to remove the profit interest. We have to make the two completely separate so that doctors can do their job, so that small business owners can run theirs. And not only that, it will add added incentive for more people to start small businesses. Isn't that what we want? So, it is my great privilege to introduce our first speaker. Dr. Anna Malino received her medical degree from Case Western University and her training in pediatrics at Rainbow Babies and Children's Hospital. She spent decades working with immigrant, refugee, and other underserved populations. In Houston, she co-founded Healthcare for All Texas and Doctors for Change to improve healthcare access to Houston's 1.1 million uninsured. In Pittsburgh, she co-founded the Pittsburgh chapter of Physicians for a National Health Program. She has authored many opinion pieces on how a single-payer national health program will improve patient care and bring us closer to the goal of social justice. She has also been a guest speaker on healthcare reform and featured on national and international television and radio. She is the past president of Physicians for a National Health Program and currently serves as an organizer for National Single Payer. She lives in San Francisco, where she practices general pediatrics. Please welcome Dr. Anna Malino.
Give it up for Dr. Malino, everyone. Yep.
Okay, very good. I'll stand over here. I'm wearing my grandmother's purse. I just mentioned that. So, good afternoon, everybody. Yes, my name is Anna Malino, and I'm thrilled to be here in front of Speaker Nancy Pelosi's home on the eve of Halloween, which is the time when children go out to trick or treat. Now, I have been a pediatrician for almost 30 years, and as a pediatrician, I can tell you who's getting the treat and who is getting tricked. Right, right. So let's have a way in which Speaker Pelosi and her colleagues and friends in Washington have been tricking us for all these years. For one, they have created a healthcare system that is based on the Wall Street money machine. That's right. It's the Wall Street money machine. Don't forget that. Also, it has given us a healthcare system that has allowed our black and brown brothers and sisters to die at 23 times the rate of white during a pandemic. You think that that's right? No. Absolutely not. It links our health insurance to our jobs. So if we lose our jobs during the pandemic, we lose our health insurance. Is that right?
No.
No, that's insane. That's crazy. You're right. It has allowed the death of 68,000 people every year due to lack of health insurance. Is that what we want? No. Absolutely not. And finally, we're too wealthy for that. What's that? We're too wealthy for that. We're too wealthy for that. That's right. And it has resulted in thousands of Americans declaring bankruptcy every year because they cannot pay for their medical bills. Is that the kind of healthcare system that we want? No. Well, if you think that that's all the tricks that Wall Street is up to, you should think again. Because as we are marching for Medicare for All, Nancy Pelosi and her friends in Washington, D.C. have already handed over half of Medicare to Wall Street through Medicare Advantage plans that are draining our Medicare trust fund and increasing Part B premiums. Disgusting. Terrible, absolutely. And there's more. There is another terrible trick that they're up to. And what are they going to do? Well, they're going to be handing over the other part of Medicare through something called direct contracting entities. Now, you all need to find out about these direct contracting entities because they are handing the rest of Medicare to Wall Street. And as we are marching for Medicare for All, these new middlemen are going to be taking over Medicare, and there will be no more Medicare fraud for it. What Nancy Pelosi and her friends are doing is they're handing traditional Medicare and all of Medicare beneficiaries to the greedy hands of venture capitalists and private equity firms. So we have to put a stop to that. So enough tricks, now on for the treats. So what do we want? Well, we want to prioritize healthcare first in the federal budget, right? Yes. Over the military budget, over the subsidies to the fossil fuel industries, right? And
I got you.
we want to stop a healthcare system that is based on racism, that is based on profiteering. We have to, for one, declare healthcare as a human right for everybody. So, Speaker Pelosi, we are demanding that you stop the privatization of Medicare, that you stop direct contracting entities immediately, and that you give us universal, comprehensive, affordable, accountable, accessible, gender-affirming, equitable health care for all. We are demanding immediate passage of H.R. 1976, the Health Care for All Act of 2021. Woo! National Single Payer Medicare for All.
Before I introduce our next speaker, I wanted to make a quick shout out. We have a couple candidates in the crowd who have pledged to run corporate free, who have pledged to run for the people, not the corporations. First off, Shai, can we get a fist bump? We also have Jason McCall joining us from Washington State. Am I missing anyone? Just me.
Harry Curry from San Francisco.
Shahid has to get going, but we're so grateful that he was able to join us, and I'm going to give him the platform just for a couple minutes here.
So I just want to thank everybody again, especially folks who've traveled so far to be here, and those of you who are helping share this event, this gathering with a wider audience. I'm just going to rocket chat. I have a friend getting married this weekend, so I'm looking forward to celebrating that. I would be here the rest of the afternoon otherwise, but I'll be thinking about each of you, and I'm going to take that sign, just hit in the back of the church with that sign, just to extend us across the neighborhood. But I just want to do that chant that we did at the other spot over by Alta Plaza Park again. And there's one principle here I just want to throw out there. Rhythm and chants does such an enormous job in bringing people in. So just a little bit, the bump's all in the rest, right? That's like a good musical principle. The bump is all in the rest. So you need to see a doctor. It should be free. Health care is a right, not a commodity. You need to see a nurse. It should be free. Health care is a right, not a commodity. You need to get some medicine. It should be free. Health care is a right, not a commodity. You need insulin. It should be free. Health care is a right, not a commodity. If you need to get a surgery, it should be free. Health care is a right, not a commodity. Health care is a right, not a commodity. Health care is a right, not a commodity. Thank you so much for being out here today. We are all ultimately in this together. Everybody in. Nobody out.
Thank you, Shahid. It meant a lot you're able to join us today.
Right on, brother.
Next up, we have somebody joining us from Sacramento. Pat Berner. Part-time activist.
What's your name?
Organizer, political satire author, and the host of Punch Up Pod. Please welcome Pat Berner.
Told me because I have to read because I think so much. Thank you, I thought the best thing I could do was read a quote from inspirational advocates of single parents. They were speaking to the House Committee trying to get a vote. By reason of security, by reason of safety, savings that spring also from the simplicity of the program, savings which spring from early intervention. People seeking and receiving intervention early in the game so that they don't have more costly health care and hospital stays. Everything points to this bill. It's interesting to see how under scrutiny, when people really take a look at these bills, how brilliantly the single-player plan stands out. I think it's a tribute to the Speaker's endurance that he has kept this issue alive, while others did not. I think it was so, shall we say, inevitable. In any event, I hope that the committee, I join my colleagues in requesting from the committee the opportunity for this bill to be considered a substitute under the rule. It has support in my community, San Francisco. It has support across the country. It has support in this Congress. I hope it does in this committee as well. That was 30 years ago almost. This woman said that. Nancy Pelosi was an advocate for single payer 30 years ago when she had very little power as Speaker of the House. Fast forward 30 years,
We only have roughly 20, 25 additional co-sponsors to the bill than she had then when she was advocating for it to be put to a vote. So we've been outraged. I think we need to be a little more on the rage side lately. I'm an advocate for rage. I think any way you can speak your voice, don't let anyone tell you your method of protesting is wrong. We can't wait for the squad to do it. We can't wait for professional activists to do it. We need to raise hell. We need to make these people uncomfortable in front of their damn house when they go eat at a restaurant. I don't give a shit. Make them uncomfortable. And while I have this, my final words are fuck you, Pelosi.
You know, thank you so much, Todd. You said what everybody is feeling and thinking, but maybe we don't have quite. I was looking over your notes, over your shoulder, you know, as I was holding the microphone for you, and I saw the year 1933. That's the year I was born. Nancy Pelosi has been my representative my entire life. And you know, honestly, it's really is ridiculous that we're having this stand. It really just goes to show that in this country we really value profit over people. You know what changed in 30 years? She played the game. Nancy Pelosi is a smart woman. We know the thing is up. Like, we know how much money you take. It's not a secret. We know about all your backroom deals. You know, and you and the president are walking in lockstep, just like the former guy and the former head of the Senate. Thank you. You know, so people that get so wrapped up in this red-blue thing, hey, it's like Joe Biden said, what will fundamentally change?
Nothing. Thank you so much. Let me know. I'll put that
Before I introduce the next speaker, I have a little message for my fellow San Franciscans, the ones that can hear me and perhaps don't want to be out here with us, the ones standing in this crowd. We are in what is arguably the most progressive city in the world, right? The most progressive city in the United States, depending on how you look at it. Bottom line is, we don't have to saddle the rest of the country with this anymore, San Franciscans. Do your job. Yeah. If a candidate takes corporate money, then guess who their obligations are to? Not the people who voted for them. With that being said, it is my great honor to introduce our next speaker, somebody who I've gotten to know through Twitter, and we were so excited to finally meet in person. Has quickly become one of my favorite people. Has been in this fight a lot longer than I have. Veteran for peace, founder. Everybody, you see the red berets that we've got on our heads? She started that. She started this. Founder of Red Berets Medicare for All and board member of Full Washington. It is my great honor to introduce the amazing, incredible Laura Fielding.
Hello, everyone. I am joined today by fellow Washingtonians, Michelle Vivier, who is a fellow craftivist, and the majority of berets that you see around on people today were lovingly, the labor of love, were crafted by Michelle. Thank you, Michelle, for everything. So I just want to say that these berets are thousands of stitches. Every single beret is intentionally created for national improved Medicare for all and healthcare justice efforts around this country. I'd like to draw everybody's attention to the flag that she and Catherine Lewandowski, who is the vice chair of Full Washington, who has also traveled down with us, along with Jason Cole, for Washington Congressional District 2. We came as a group down together to join all of you in San Francisco. Over there, that flag has been all over Washington State for the last 3.5 years. We brought it to the second Women's March. The first Women's March, when, right after Trump's election, planted the seed when I saw all the millions of pussy hats in the streets, crafted by women, worn by women and men and people of all genders in solidarity. But what has happened, fast forward to now, we still don't have health care. We have Democrats who control all houses, and 68,000 people are still going to die this year. That flag lists nearly every single country that has achieved universal health care or a single-payer system, and the year that they achieved it. So please, take a look at some of those dates. It is absolutely a disgusting travesty that the Speaker of the House will not schedule hearings, public hearings, and fight to save these lives. People like my dear, dear friend, Scott Denoye, who lost his son, Danny. This didn't need to happen, and it's happening all across this country. And Nancy Pelosi and all of her colleagues, Democrat and Republican, have excellent health care. They have the best health care that our tax dollars can buy. That's all we want. Shame! Shame!
Shame!
Shame on you, Nancy Pelosi.
Shame on anyone who voted for her.
Yes. That reminds me. I spoke or was approached by a local constituent here of Representative Pelosi, leader of the House majority. I spoke to one of your constituents. She came up and asked me, she said, I have never voted, not once, for Nancy Pelosi. And she wanted me to ask all of you San Franciscans, everyone out there who might see this live stream, if she's denying people health care justice, she's complicit in the murder of 68,000 people across this country every fucking year.
Shame!
Why do you keep voting for her? Stop voting for Nancy Pelosi. She is not your friend. She is complicit, and she is, the Democrats and the Republicans are both in the pockets of Big Pharma and the insurance lobby. They work together to deny all of us care. Can you imagine the mothers out there who are out there right now who cannot take their children to see a doctor? You know, one of the things I don't talk about very much is I am a holistic health care practitioner. I started knitting these after seeing all of the hats for the Women's March, and about 9 months later, listening to a YouTube recording of Bernie Sanders, Roseanne DeMoro, and Jane Sanders able to see a doctor. And I think that is what is so cleverly hidden in this country. There are so many people that just don't know. They are not awake, they are not aware of the realities that people are dying.
At the window.
Nancy Pelosi has the power. She has the power to schedule public hearings and to push and win votes in her House. That's what our demands are. Thank you very much.
Well, hear my story, Nancy.
Let them eat ice cream, right?
Put the ice cream down.
You know, climate's changing. You're going to be able to keep that ice cream cold for much longer. You know, so I've been a small business owner for over half my life, and one of the numbers to me that just really blows my mind about this whole fiasco, this situation that we've created, that they created, is that a single-payer healthcare system would be so much better than the one we already have. It would actually save $460 billion a year.
Woo! How much?
$460 billion a year. That's more money than you approved to send to Israel, Speaker. Yeah, that's controversial, but not giving the American people health care. You know, that's what we're debating. Anyway, sorry about my the next speaker is a black and Chinese, reproductive rights activist with the Freedom Socialist Party and Radical Women. She is a survivor of a childhood tumor and only alive because her family was lucky enough to work in fields that provided insurance that covered her care, and she thinks that everyone should have that benefit. Please give a warm welcome to Christina Lee. Christina!
So I wasn't able to figure out where in my remarks I wanted to say this, but this is a photo of my father-in-law who died of COVID early in the pandemic. He is one of the thousands in the United States who have died of COVID due to the government's lack of care, lack of responsibility for making sure that all Americans have the care that we need. And people are still dying because we do not all have the care we need. And that is ludicrous.
That's right.
The need for universal access to quality health care has long been obvious. And the COVID-19 pandemic has only made that more clear. Yeah. The working class has had to struggle through the pandemic with only the Band-Aid solutions given by the corporations and the government. And this is still clear. Health care is a right and should not be for profit.
That's right.
And laws like the Affordable Care Act have expanded access to health care, but we need more.
That's right.
The working class deserves access to hospitals, primary care, prescriptions, vision, dental, hearing, nursing, and in-home care.
All of it.
Access that is a right and not tied to employment. Our current system has forced workers to ration vital medication like insulin because of the exorbitant prices corporate medicines demand. And the only way that we are going to get quality universal health care that we need is with socialism. Allowing health care to continue to be distributed through the private industries will only enrich the healthcare industrial complex. Private profit is by its very nature an obstacle to quality care for everyone of every color, gender, and sexuality, including every immigrant. And we need to just completely get that out of the picture. What we need is a grassroots fight. Ideally, union-led, to nationalize the entire medical industry, starting with Big Pharma.
Yeah!
We pay for the research It's bullshit.
Unconscionable.
Yes. And the healthcare employees should be in control of this system. We've got to tax corporations and the super rich to pay for universal health care under workers' control. We need equity in our ongoing pandemic response. We got to ramp up the production and distribution of the vaccines, and we've got to prioritize communities of color and First Nations communities and our frontline workers. Our tax dollars paid for these vaccines. Our tax dollars continue to enrich all of these corporations, and it should enrich us. And the for-profit medical system, Medicare for all.
Medicare for who? Medicare for all! Medicare for who? Medicare for all! Thank you, Christina. Something that really gives me hope in this fight is that to my knowledge, and according to my research, there really is no other policy that has ever had the level of support from the American people. Parties aside, bipartisan support for Medicare for all. It has never been clearer what the only obstacle standing in the way of us achieving this is. So our next speaker is a public health physician, a former Republican, still conservative, advocating for single-payer healthcare reform for the past 30 years. He is the author of The Purple World, Healing the Harm in American Healthcare. It is my great honor to introduce Dr. Joe Jarvis.
Join me in the solemn moment. I am a former lay leader of the Christian congregation in Pennsylvania. Say a few words of meditation upon the death of these 68,000 and the additional 250,000 who died with medical injury of hospitalized patients back in the church. Dr. John Semingis was one of London's most successful physicians in the late 16th century. He was wealthy, holding property in 3 counties, and widely respected throughout London. He was a senior member of the Royal Academy of Medicine. It is said he owed all of this to his shrewd business sense. His mantra for his medical practice was simple, quote, "Before you meddle with a patient, make your bargain wisely, now he is changed," end quote. Quite simply, he urged fledgling doctors to settle the fee for treatment while the patient was unable to really negotiate. Dr. Semingis and his self-serving style of practicing the business of medicine, despite his preeminence during his own lifetime, would be entirely forgotten to us now, and deservedly so, but for the accident of history that by marriage he became the stepfather of John Donne, one of England's greatest poets, who was the dean of St. Paul's during the last decade of his life. By then, Donne had already become more famous than his stepfather, and the sermons and meditations he penned while at St. Paul's sealed his enduring fame. Once, while he himself was too ill to arise from bed, he heard the church bell tolling and wrote his 17th meditation, from which I quote, "Perchance he for whom this bell tolls may be so ill as that he knows not it tolls for him. And perchance I may think myself so much better than I am, as that they who are about me and see my state may have caused it to toll for me, and I know not that. The bell doth toll for him that thinks it doth. No man is an island, entire of itself. Every man is a piece of the continent, a part of the main. If a clod be washed away by the sea, Europe is the less, as well as if a promontory were. any man's death diminishes me, because I am involved in mankind, and therefore never send to know for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for thee. Another man may be sick too, and sick to death, and this affliction may lie in his bowels as gold in a mine, and be of no use to him. But this bell that tells me of his affliction digs out and applies that gold to me, if by this consideration of another's danger I take mine own into contemplation. For done, illness in another, no matter how remote the contact, is to be shared, contemplated, learned from. Wealth generated from the sick comes not as coin, but as shared human experience, for which the observer can be grateful. Applied to my professional life in clinical care, Dunn's words signal me to accept my calling as a requirement to subsume my self-interest and seek to attach myself to a cause greater than mine own. Because I am involved in mankind, Dunn would have all of us contemplate our own personal future as we make ourselves aware of the afflictions of others. These lessons of 300 years ago need relearning now. Medicine once again has been reduced to a business opportunity. In a nation where tens of millions have no financing for basic healthcare services, leading to tens of thousands of preventable deaths annually, our body politic has been paralyzed by a market-oriented health policy. Bells are tolling, yet our Congress pretends that we are not diminished by the suffering of our fellow countrymen. They pretend that the afflictions of the uninsured are not theirs to share, as if Congress is an island, entire of itself. This despite the fact that we pay twice as much per capita for healthcare than do the citizens of the rest of the developed world, mostly in the form of the highest per-person taxes for healthcare in the world. What Nancy Pelosi and her colleagues are missing is the contemplation of our danger. Americans are least likely in the developed world to avoid death, which should be amenable to healthcare. We have allowed the business of medicine to so deviate our health system from its principal mission that preventable injury to hospitalized patients has become the fifth leading cause of death in our country. Bells are tolling. We are here to ask Congress to hear them or be unelected. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Jarvis.
Yes.
Thank you so much for this opportunity to say a few words. Thank you all for being here. My name is Nancy Dory. I am with the Green Party of California on the coordinating committee. I'm also with the Santa Clara County. We have awesome Santa Clara County folks representing. What I wanted to remind us all, and I think you spoke about it, Eric, is how capitalism has led to the commodification of every aspect of our lives. The very life that we lead have been commodified. Our air, our water, our land, our commons, and our health. And this is not because we as a people don't support the government taking its responsibility seriously and working for the well-being of our families. In this country, the richest on this planet, we have seen the maternal and child health outcomes decrease for women of color. We have seen the life expectancy, fast privatizing Medicare, are suffering because we are allowing the lining of pockets of billionaires. Insurance CEOs are raking it in over the graves of our loved ones. And I really appreciate the moment of solemn and reflection. This is time for a fight, folks. This is time for us to claim our rights as humans, our rights as people, and the rights of this planet. We literally cannot allow our entire future to end up as chump change in the pockets of capitalists, because that's where it is now, the future of our children. So
Eco-socialism is our only path forward. Independent, corporate-free, clean money, human values parties are not just an alternative party, folks, anymore. They are the imperative. Please join parties that represent you and don't dance on the graves of our loved ones. Thank you.
Thank you for reminding us that this indeed is a fight. This indeed, people are dying. And we have to take what is ours. If that wasn't the most clear lesson from the pandemic, I'm not sure if any of us were paying attention, because we, the workers, held this country up. Not corporate America. Sure as heck not the politicians that sold us out to corporate America. We did this. And it really took a village to pull this event off. So I'm going to take this moment to thank all of our amazing partners. First off, my incredible, has his hands full right now, my incredible right arm partner in crime, Sukru. I'm going to say something. There were kind of three co-organizers, right? I'm the only one in San Francisco. Sukru came up from LA. And we've been, actively on Zoom and all that fun stuff. Thank you, technology. My other co-organizer who I want to shout out is Sharif. You met him earlier. He came all the way from New York, and he's got to bust it back so we can celebrate Halloween with his children. So that shows you the dedication. We also have some incredible organizations who co-sponsored this event. I'd like to thank Code Pink, Golden Gate Extinction Rebellion, the Freedom Socialist Party, Radical Women, Physicians for a National Health Program. This is legit when we got the doctors out. And last but not least, Santa Clara County Single Payer Healthcare Coalition. Thank you. Our next speaker, Vara Ramakrishnan, is an artist, activist, and disinformation researcher. She has a doctorate in information and computer science, and is a co-founder of Vigil for Democracy, a movement that mourns the end of democracy as we fall into fascism and theocracy across the world. It's a great honor to introduce Vara.
Even if they don't have children, they care about children, and they show up. And it's dangerous to have them freed up to be out in the streets like we are now. It's much better if they're sick, pregnant, wounded,
better if they're bound to the home by little ones that need 12, 15, 18 years of care. Longer if they're born disabled.